and our application reloaded. Now this is the working scenario when we don't have any kind of issues, and let's say our internet goes down. Hello guys, welcome to this video. So in this video we are taking a look at a new feature in Angular, which is the resource API. Okay, so it was introduced in Angular version 19, and in this video we will take a look at it, how to use this feature, what are some of the benefits, and what are the different things in this feature. We will do it from scratch. I will create a project and then we will take a look at it together. Okay, so first of all, this is the page. I am on the documentation of Angular where the resource API is documented. So first of all, let's talk about this. What is this? What is this resource API? So as you know, over the past few versions of Angular, we are moving towards signals, right? We have different kinds of signals, like this signal, computed, and input signal. Okay, so these are already there, but one piece is missing, that was missing, and now that piece is being introduced with the resource API. That is, whenever we have any kind of async operation, then also we want to utilize signals for that. Okay, so for that piece we have the resource API that they have introduced. Okay, so firstly let's go ahead, let's create a project. First of all, let's check which version we have on our system installed currently, so that we can check with ng version. Okay, so as you can see, I have Angular version 20 already installed. So I shouldn't have closed that. Let's open it again. Let's create a new project, and I will guys also provide this project to you guys on GitHub, so I will give the code there. So if this code is helpful for you, just make sure to give it a star on GitHub as well. Okay, and also like this video and subscribe to the channel if you like videos like this where we take a look at features together. And any other feature if you have in mind which you want me to take a look at, just let me know, we will take a look at that as well. Okay, so let's create a new project, ng new, and we will name this project resource API. Okay, let's go with that name, and we will wait for this project to be created. So it is already giving us zoneless. Do you want to create a zoneless application without zone.js? So this is also something new, but for now I don't want to tinker around with this, so I will go with the previous kind of setup. We will keep zone for now. Okay, and we have style sheet. Let's go with CSS only. Do you want to enable server side rendering? That is not a important thing here, so let's go with no. We don't have any need of server side rendering in this, as we are just taking a look at resource API. Okay, there are a lot of things guys in Angular that we have and we can take a look, so make sure to comment and let's make it fun. Let's have fun when taking a look at new features. That is very fun if we interact with them and we share our opinion on that. Okay, so it is creating the project. Let's wait. Till then we can go to the documentation guys. Okay, there is a lot of things here. So basically you can see we have this kind of API. You can read this on your own as well. I will give the link, but we will not be reading this in the video. We want to do some practical work here. So basically you can see this is the example they have. Basically the idea behind resource is that your resource will be dependent upon some other signal. Okay, so and if that signal changes, based on that signal value, that resource do some computation. That is your loader. You can see this is the loader. So here we provide the params, which is in this format, and here we have the loader. Whenever any of the signals in the params change, this loader will be executed again with the new params, and the whatever output that we get from that uh, loader, whatever this function, this is a function, right, which is provided to loader. Whatever we output we get that as a signal that we can read. Okay, so we will take a look. So the project is already created, so let's go ahead and open that in VS Code. Open with, oh no, not with git bash. I want to click open with code. Okay, so I also need to make the text a little bigger so that you guys can see the code that we have. Okay, so I hope this would be sufficient, and let's go ahead and first of all go to our app component. Where is our app.html? You can see we also have new naming convention, right? We have new naming conventions in Angular version 20, which is very interesting actually. You can see app.html. It is not app.component.html. This is in itself a very new thing, and I think it deserves a kind of a LinkedIn post, right? I think I will do that, guys, because this is very big change. And because when I started learning Angular, it was kind of a very uh, major thing in the naming convention, like app.component.html, app.component.css, right? But now they are moving towards more simpler, more simplified approach for naming. So this can be a good thing, in my opinion. But I think I am okay with both kind of things. Okay, so this is our app.html, right? Now let's simply do one thing. Let's go right here, resource API. Now let's run the project. ng serve. This deserves a LinkedIn post, guys, because this is a very minor change but very unexpected change. Let's go with yes here. It's running, it's building. Okay, so it's already built, and it's giving us a warning because we removed router outlet from here. So this is also very cool. As you know, they are like adding a lot of small things that makes the experience a lot good, a lot better. If anybody from Angular is watching, thank you guys. You guys are doing amazing job. These kind of small things, like we are not using the router outlet. Okay, so that's why it's giving us that warning that you have unused imports. So we can we can also remove it from here. This can be very useful. Okay, so now we don't have any warning. Let's go and open our local host 4200, and this is our application running. Okay, so now let's start with the main topic that we have. So basically what I will do is I will utilize some kind of API. What kind of API? We need to perform some kind of async operation, right? So the best thing to do in that scenario is to use a API endpoint, REST API. So we will use a dummy API, which is very popular. You have used it a lot of time, I know. So that is JSON placeholder. This is very popular, and yes, we will use this only. Okay, so here what we will do, we will use any of those, like this one. We have to-dos. We are fetching to-dos based on ID. So we will use these APIs. Okay, so first of all, let's go back here and go to our app component and just write some kind of code here for the resource. So first of all, we will go with this example only, guys. Okay, we don't want to waste our time in thinking of something new when we already have an example on the docs. Okay, so first of all, the first thing I will use is we will just modify it based on our needs. Okay, so it is share giving us get user id. So instead of user id we will have to do id. Okay, and we will import signal from Angular core, and this is what are we having? Class member. Okay, okay, so this is not in the class, which is pretty cool to see. So this example, they are not having a class, so we need to remove this from here. We have this to do id. Okay, then we have this get user id. So this get user id, what they mean by that, that is something, because this get user id is something that will return us the id. Okay, so I think for this one we can create a signal kind of. This is the to do id, selected to do id kind of. It will be kind of a drop down. We can create a kind of drop down where we have different ids, and based on those ids we will fetch that particular to do with that id. So what we need to do here is, let's say our to do is id is 1 by default, which is a string. Let's keep it to string. No problem, no problem, no problem. Okay, now it's string, and it is giving us the type string is not assignable to type signal. Type string is not assignable to type. Okay, so it is expecting it to be a signal, guys. Okay, we need to use signal actually here. Okay, so we will use signal because this is something that we will be changing from the UI. From the UI we will be changing the to do id, right? So this is definitely something that should be done with a signal, right? Signal, and we can go with a string id 1, and we will import signal from Angular core. Okay, so now we don't have any error in our code, which is pretty good. Apart from that, the next thing I want to do is I want to add one array where we have different IDs. This is the selected to do ID. So let's rename it selected to do ID. This is the one which is selected. Okay. What else we have? What else we will have is we will have to do IDs. To do IDs, which will be a array of IDs. Let's say 1 and 2, and we have 3. So this is a simple property. So here the important thing, do we need to have it as a signal, or we can just leave it as a simple to do, simple value, not a signal? Here I think we can leave it to be a simple value. We don't need a signal here because we are not going to change these to do IDs dynamically, and they are not going to, there is no need to update the UI based on this because we are not going to change in this scenario. Okay, so what I will do is we have to do IDs. I will go over here. What I want to do is I want to create a select. Okay guys, and I'm just writing this code in the simplified way, so don't worry if it is not proper. We are just, our main goal is to look at the resource API, not to see are we doing it in the best way or not. So that I just want to make clear that we are doing the simplified way as possible. We can definitely make improvements to this, that I want to make clear. Okay, so first of all, let's go with the select here. I will have a select here, and this select would be we will say select. It will have options, right? It will have options options option. I think there is no option. There is option, right? Let's go with option and let's add it one. Let's just for testing if it is working already. Yeah, so we have a select where we have the option. So now what we want to do is we don't want to give a static option here. We want to use our to-do IDs array, to-do IDs array for that those options. So what we can do is we can use a for loop. Okay, for and we can move it up, and then we go here with what is that, guys? What is that? What is that? That is to do of to do ID of to do IDs, and I think we need to provide track as well, right? Track to do IDs. Actually, we have to do like this. Okay, so track is important. Track is mandatory when we use this new syntax of for loop. And now we have the to do IDs and to do ID, and then we will use them inside of here. To do ID, and if we save now and if we go back, now we have 1 2 3. Okay, so we displayed our these to do IDs in the UI. Now the next important thing we have is we need to update this selected to do ID to that ID that we select. And I hope I have Angular dev tools installed. That will be very helpful if yes, we have Angular dev tools, guys. Thanks. This will be very helpful because we will be able to see directly over here what kind of value we have in our state. Okay, so as you can see, this is showing us our app root component. Okay, and it is having these values. Okay, so now our next thing we need to do is we need to update this selected to do ID to the ID that we select, right? To the ID that we select over here. How we can do that? Let's see. There should be something, guys. I think there should be something. So whenever we select any option from the select, what happens? Some kind of event fires from the select, and based on that event we can update the signal that we have. Let's try. So let's say select. Okay, great. And on select, some kind of logic we need to write that will update that selected to do ID. So can we do that here only? Selected to do ID dot selected to do ID dot update. I think, guys, let's see. It is writable, right? This is writable signal for sure, I think. Let's see. Signals, return value. We need to update this, right? Let's go here. Let's create one function. Update selected to do ID, and inside of that I go with selected to this is the to do dot. It is giving us apply call. I call this dot. Guys, let's see. Selected to do dot. I'm not getting the update. I need to update this signal to a newer value. Let's check the documentation, guys. I currently don't have that in my mind right off the bat. Okay, this is, we have signal count.set, count.update. We have the kind of signal like this. But why we are not getting that here? Oh, sorry for that, guys. Actually, our syntax is not correct here. Why I am writing this like this? But actually, this is correct. This is signal. We are assigning a signal to this. It should work. Let me go. Let me check that. Property set doesn't exist on type signal string. It is this. What is which signal is this, guys? This is strange. This is very strange. Why? Why is this happening, guys? There is definitely something I'm doing wrong. Definitely. Create a signal that can be set or updated directly. I am trying to do that only. Signal. Let's try removing this from here. Keep it simple like this. Now I am able to. Yes, now I am able to. What's the type here? Writable signal. Okay. Okay. So you guys can see the issue is that we are using signal type here actually. I am explicitly giving it as a signal. But this signal type is not writable. Okay, so this is very important thing. Whenever you use this signal, it will give you a writable signal. So the simple thing you can do is just remove explicit type here, and it will give the correct type, which is writable signal and string, right? So then we can set it to whatever value we want to set. It should be string. If I go with a number, then we will definitely get a type error. Okay, so that's important thing. So it was because signal, that this signal type is not writable signal. This is just a signal where you set the value once and it is not, you can't update it or set it. Okay, that is the important thing. Okay, so let's remove explicit type declarations. And whenever you are working with types, guys, it is like it varies from team to team, but I prefer to not explicitly writing the types where it is not required, which makes it a lot simpler as well, and also less error prone. And you are just not, if in case you write a wrong type, you may introduce errors on your own. But yeah, facing these kinds of issues just give you some more clarity. Okay, so like we have set it here. So now I want to check one thing. Can we do it directly here? Select it to do dot. Yes, we can do it here. So we will use event. What is this event, guys? Event dot value. I need to check what we get in that event. Let's check. We will have the here event. Oh, we will get the value. Oh my god, the curtains fell off, guys. I was recording the video and the curtains just fell off. I will just show you from here with my phone. So as you can see, I'm recording this video right here and the curtains fell off and that thing broke. That's crazy, guys. That's really crazy. Sorry for that, guys. This is crazy. Okay, so let's move on. I will need to fix the curtains. Oh my gosh, that's not good. Okay, So let's go here. Let's see what we are getting here. Are we getting value directly? No. Let's go. Let's check it from here. Update selected to do and select. Let's go here. Update selected to do and it should have that event. And here, let's go with that event. And this is a mat, not mat select. This is a select event, right? Select. What's the type for that event, guys? Let's go with any for now, guys. We don't need to waste too much time for that because our main thing is still not there. Actually, we are still in the setup only. No worries, these things take time. I just wanted to record it on like how we are doing the process, all of this. So that is a lot of people will also like it. Most of people will think that it's very time consuming. So let's see how people react. Based on that, we will decide. Okay. So what I will do is I'll console.log its event and see what we have in this event. Let me go here. Let's go to the console and let's change this. I changed, but nothing in the console, which is very interesting. Nothing in the console? This event is not getting fired or what? This should be fired, man. Let's go. No, it's not changing. Okay, I know why it's not changing. Because we didn't provide the value here, right? This also includes the value that we need to provide. And that value will be our to do ID. Okay, now now we provided the value. Now let's see. Now we still don't see that event, guys, which is pretty interesting. Is this any kind of other, let's say, change? I think this is change event. Yes, it is working with the change event. And how we can get the value from this change event? That is from event dot target dot value. Okay, let's go here. That will be somewhere here. Let's go here. Let's go with event dot target dot value. I know I'm not using a proper type for the event here, but we don't want to focus on that in this video, guys. Okay, now if we change, let's see. Now as you can see, we are getting our value printed in the console, whichever ID we are selecting. Based on that, our signal is updating. And in here as well, you can see, I will zoom in, you can see we have the signal and it is updating. It is not shown to be updated, but it should update, guys. I don't know why it's not showing here as 3, but I think it's showing just the initial value here for some reason. But it is definitely updating, guys. Actually, why it's showing 3? Because we are not updating it. You can see it is 3. This is not the issue of the dev tools, it's the issue of our code, right? So we need to update that signal. Copy that and paste it over here. Now if we go here, now if we select and change, you will see that in DevTools as well, the signal value is changing. You can see. Okay, so the signal value is also changing with whenever we are changing. Okay, so now our basic setup is already done. Okay, our basic setup is already done. We have a basic setup where we have a drop down where we have three different IDs, 1, 2, and 3, and which is a signal. And when this ID changes, when this selected to do changes, we need to fetch that to do from the API based on the ID. So for that, we will use the new resource API that we have. Okay, before that, I want to check one thing. Can we do all this thing? Can we do all of this over here? Let's see. Yeah, we can, but it is giving us some kind of type error because we are not casting it to any particular type. So let's just keep it like this only for simplicity. Okay, for simplicity, let's keep it for like this only. Now let's move on to the main thing that we want to do, that is our resource API. So now we will use this logic we have. I will copy this. This is the main thing about resource that we will see. Now my goal here is I want to fetch that to do whichever ID is selected. Initially it is 1. So the first to do will be fetched from the server initially. And when I change that to do ID, I want to refetch the to do with the selected to do ID. So that is our goal with this resource. Okay. So I will keep the event handler in the bottom and this in the top, signals on the top. And let's go here and copy whatever we copied. Let's paste it and let's rename this to not user resource. We are dealing with to do's here. Let's go with to do resource, and we will import the resource from Angular core here. And over here, instead of user ID, we will use selected to do ID, which is a signal. Okay, which is a signal. Why it's giving error? Okay, so we need to actually write this dot selected to do ID and also remove const from here, because we are inside of a class here and this example is not inside of a class. Okay, so we have this resource, and after that they have written a function here which is fetch user, and it is providing the params to that function. Okay, so this is a async function. So let's just take a look at this. Now here, what important thing I want to mention is that this fetch users can be from any file, can be imported from any file. It's just any kind of asynchronous function that makes a API call. It will be that function. Okay, so what we will do is we will create a function over here only, in this file only, outside this component class. So we will name it as, let's do async function, right? Async function which is fetch to do. Okay, this is a async function which will fetch the to do's for us. Okay, it will fetch the to do's for us. Now, important thing. What is this function expecting? Here we have fetch users. This is params. Okay, what is it? It is expecting a object. We will do the similar whatever we have there. Okay, it is expecting a object with a ID property which is a string. Not like this, that's not the correct syntax. Type will be defined like this, ID which is a string. Okay, so it's expecting a ID, a object which is containing a ID which is of type string, and we will use that we will use that to make a API call to fetch that particular to do. Okay, so also let's update this to fetch to do, and it is now showing no error because we are passing similar kind of data. Now let's focus our attention to this part for some time. How is this, what is this, and how it is working? How is this resource API working in this scenario? Okay, so first of all, this is the resource function that we imported from Angular core. What it is returning? It is returning a resource ref. It is returning a resource ref. Here you will see resource ref, which is a signal, which is a reference to the resource from which we will be able to access different signals. Actually, not just a value, we will be able to access different signals from that resource reference. Okay, so that will contain the value signal as well, but also some other signals as well that I will show you in this video. Okay, so let's go here. We have params, and then we have the loader, and we have set up this. Now the thing we want to do is here is it's that we need to make a API call and fetch that to do from that API. So how will we make that call? That is very interesting question. You can do this with any kind of API request method you use. You can do this with HTTP service as well, Axios, or you can use the normal fetch API as well. We will go with the normal fetch API that we have. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's see, let's get the API endpoint that we want to use. I want to use this API endpoint. I copied this. They already have all the things here, man. They are not using the async await thing, but we will update it to async await. No worries. Let's go. Let me go here back to my VS Code. Here we have the fetch call, and we will write await in front of it. Because we are inside of a async function, we can write await without any issues, right? What other thing we need to do is we need to make this dynamic. This ID is something that is dynamic. Whatever ID we select, based on that ID, we need to call this API. Okay, so let's go here. Let's use backticks. And we have the backticks in place, and then let's use our template literals, guys. Template literal syntax, and use the ID. This will make our endpoint dynamic, right? We make the fetch API call, and we will also use try catch because we want to have some kind of error handling, right? We don't want to write code that will just break our application, right? We will wrap it inside try catch. And once again, I'm telling this, this is just plain simple example code, guys. Okay, so don't think that this is kind of we are trying to write the best code possible. This is just example code. Okay, now we have fetch. We will have it inside of our response. Okay, we have response. Wait a minute. Response. Okay, we have that variable response. Now we will get the JSON from that response. Okay, we will get the JSON. Const JSON is equals to await response dot JSON, and we do that, and it will return the JSON. I think this is what we need to do, right? Whatever JSON we at the end of the day, whatever JSON we get, we return that JSON from here. Okay, And in case there is some kind of error in that scenario, let's console log the error, guys. Let's console log the error for now. Dot log error. Okay, we console log the error. Now, important thing. I think the call should have already been made. Let's check. Let's go to the network tab. Yes, you can see our API call is already being made. Our resource is already working. So you can see if I refresh, API call is made to this endpoint. To-dos 1, and the first to-do is fetched from the server. Cool. If I go to second, you can see API call to fetch this second to-do is made. If I go to third, then another API call is made. So this is the thing, guys. This is how the resource is making things simpler to do async things. It is like making a graph. It is allowing us to include async functionality, async computations that we do inside of our signal graph, right? So this is very, very cool for this kind of example. For a big application, this will require some kind of implementation. Then when we work on a bigger application, we will need to check if this is how this will be managed. But for sure, it will be also scalable, guys. Angular team is known for building things that are scalable. The Angular framework is built on the principle that even if the application scales, your code should not be cluttered. So these things are taken care of. Now, the API request is being made. Now, how to access the data? How to access this data that we are getting from the API? That is a very important thing, right? We need to show that to the user. Otherwise, there is no point of doing all this if we are not showing the data to the users at the end of the day. Okay, so let's go here. Let's do one thing. Let's write a p tag here. Very simple, guys. And we will use the JSON pipe. We can use the JSON pipe, guys, right? That will show the JSON as it is on our screen, which is very cool, right? Now let's do what is our resource name. It is to-do resource. Okay, I will copy this resource, go here, and I will use the value signal and call it. So as I said, this to-do resource is not a signal. It is a reference to that resource, and on that resource we have different signals. One of them is the value, that is the current value of the resource, or throws an error if the error resource is in an error state. So there are also signals for error state as well. So there are a lot of things that are there. Okay, we will also try to check the error state as well for sure. Let's see that. So first of all, we have the value. You can see it's showing object because we are not using the JSON pipe. So let's import the JSON pipe for using JSON pipe. Let's import that, and we need to use that. So we'll use JSON pipe here, and we will save this, and you can see on the screen that we are fetching that to do. We are fetching that to do from the API, right? This is user ID 1, ID 1. Okay, so it is fetching the to do 1. If I select second, it will fetch the ID from second. To do for the ID 2. If I go with 3, then it is showing for 3. It is fetching for 3. Now the very visible thing that we have is that when the API call is in progress, then we are not showing anything here. It would be cool if we can show something like loading indicator. so that user know that there some kind of loading is in place. Now that is also very straightforward in this, because the resource also provide a signal for loading state, which is very cool, guys. You don't need to maintain any kind of state value that you manually need to update. You can just use that. Let's do that. Let's go with here. Let's go with loading. Is there something like loading, guys? I think there was something. Let's check the docs. Let me check. There is something like the loading, guys. Something is loading. Okay, you can see is loading. So for using that, you can use is loading, and whenever we have loading, this will be in the if condition. We can use if else for sure. We can use if else for sure here. Like this. Let's do now. This is also very cool, right? This is a older feature, but this is very cool that we have inbuilt control flow in Angular now. We don't need to use the syntax where we were like we were. Just wait a minute. We don't need to use the directives approach, right? That we used to do, like star and gif, right? That is not required anymore, and we don't need to import anything inside here for using that. Okay, so let's go here. Let's write a loading here. loading, loading. So this will be shown whenever our resource is in loading state. So copy, and whenever is loading, whenever we are not loading, that is the thing. Okay, so when we are not loading, we will show the data. When we are loading, we will show loading. Let's go back. Now if I refresh, you can see we show loading here. If I switch, we see loading, and when our API request is there, when our data is there from the API request, we see the actual data. That is very cool, man. That is very cool. That loading state you can easily manage with this. Now the next thing that we want to check is error state. If there is some kind of error, there are a lot of other things as well, guys, in this. There is specifically HTTP resource as well that we can check also in another video if you guys want, or I will bring that as well. But I will urge you to go to this page and check things on your own as well. Here we will check the most important things, most basic things that will introduce you to this new resource API. Okay, so I'm very much enjoying this, recording the video and discussing about this. So yes, it's very good that we are getting these kinds of features, and very good. Yeah, this is very good. I will also share the code in GitHub as well. Okay, so let's go here. Let's check the error state. I want to check the error state. So let's go. What is that error? The signal. This is the error, right? The most recent error encountered while running the resource loader, or undefined if no error has occurred. So let's do one thing. Let's go with one more if here. If we will use this for the error, to do resource dot error. If there is a error, we will have a text, an error occurred, Okay, so for now there should not be that text because we are running and there is no kind of error. What if I go here and if I go offline? Will we getting the error on the screen or not? Let's go. Let's try. Okay, so we got the error, the request failed here, but we don't see anything here. I think that's because we are handling the response here and we are logging it here. You can see we are just logging it here. We need to throw that error. I think we don't need to cache that error. If we don't cache that error, then that will be handled by our this resource API. Then we will be getting that here. Now let's do that. Let's try that. Let me do one thing. I will add the comment here as well. Let's do here. I will comment this as well. I will write a comment here. Not removing error handling so that resource API can handle the error and we can see that in the UI. So I added that comment. Hopefully this should be working like this. Let's refresh. Oh, now this is offline because we were offline here. Let's refresh the page. Yes. Okay, so now you can see now this is working fine. We don't have any error. We are getting the error loading message as well, which is pretty cool. Now if we go ahead and we make it offline, and if I try to fetch the third one, you can see an error occurred, right? This is pretty cool, right? Error handling in just that kind of, in just these lines of code, we are handling the error so gracefully, right? That isn't that cool? That is really cool. And one more thing I want to, on top of that, one more thing that I want to show you guys here is that we even have the functionality to retry that particular resource request in case of a error. Let's try to do that. Let's try to do that as well. I saw here somewhere that we have that. Yes, you can see you can programmatically trigger a resource loader by calling reload method like this. So what if we do this? What if we give a button here? Button. Okay, and we do retry and we give it a type of button. You might be seeing some kind of background noise, guys, because the car is charging and there is a very hot climate. I will just turn off it for a second. Just wait. Okay. I came back. I don't want too much noise, guys. You might have heard that noise. That was our car charging. We have the EV, so that was charging, and it makes a lot of sound when there is, in the summer, when there is a lot of temperature heat. Then it makes a lot of sound, which is good thing actually. Actually, it shows that the heat dissipates from the vehicle, so that's a good thing. Now let's come back to our topic, what we were doing. Okay, so we were checking the retry functionality for this resource API. So now let's go here. Let's go with, on click of this button, I want to do resource dot reload. Now this should retry that particular failed request. Whenever that request is failed, whatever request is failed, it will retry that request for that resource. Okay, so we are offline, so we will not go to no throttling and our application reloaded. Now this is the working scenario when we don't have any kind of issues, and let's say our internet goes down, we go offline, and then I will clear the network tab here. I go for the third ID, I select it, and I noticed, oh, there is a kind of error. There is some error because, and then I check the router at my home and see, okay, the internet is not working. After some time, the internet works, and then what we can do? We can click this retry button, right? If I click it, you can see, it is making that request again. It is making that request again with the third ID, whatever ID was selected at the time the request failed. If I go with 2, now it goes to 2. If I retry, it makes request for the to do with the ID 2. Okay, so if we go back and we go online again and retry, and then we get the to do that we have, and the request is also successful. We get 200. Okay, so guys, you can see with this kind of application that we have all of the things actually in this, like majorly in most of the applications what we have these kind of functionalities only, right? We have scenario to select something and then fetch something on that. We show loading indicators, and we have error indicators where if there is kind of error we need to show, and we have retry. And if we do it in the manual way, it requires a lot of other things as well. This is some kind of, okay, so this is just kind of error state, whatever it was giving us. Okay, so when we are like doing this, right, if we do this with normal code, it requires a lot of manual things. As you can see, with just these few lines of code, we are actually having very nice application, very small example application, which is having kind of everything. Loading indicator, and we are showing the data, and we have the error as you saw. So this is what I wanted to discuss in this video. So we are offline, and if we selected third only, then it's not fetching it again because it is the already selected one. If I go to second, then an error occurred. Then an error occurred. We retry, and it is giving the error. So I hope this video was interesting. You guys find this video interesting. Just wanted to highlight this new feature, and in future we will also be taking a look at other features as well, because there are a lot of new features that are added to Angular, and it's a good thing that we keep ourselves updated on the new features, because that will help us make applications which are on new features, and just the code in itself is much more simpler and less error prone. And even you don't even need Zone.js as well in this, because all of this is based on signals, right? So thank you so much guys for watching this video. I urge you to like this video. If this video was helpful for you guys, please subscribe to the channel, because based on your response I will try to make more videos. If you guys enjoy this kind of long videos where we take a look at a feature, we do the initial setup and then we continue from that. If you guys enjoy this, I'm more than happy to do this. If you guys want to have some kind of videos that are more short, we are just to the point, then just let me know. Any kind of feedback that you have, just leave it in the comment section below. I will take that feedback and try to improve our content based on that feedback. Okay guys, just now my only request is to just like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down in the comment section below, and do share with your friends, colleagues, and whoever is working in Angular, has worked in Angular previously, thinking to work in Angular. Just share this video with them so that they also understand, they also get to know about the new features that they are there in Angular. And also do follow me on my Instagram, Code with Daman, and also you can connect with me on my LinkedIn as well. And thank you so much guys for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.